we'll go ahead and get started, and people can join late as we go through. We'd like to welcome you to Wake Forest, and this is an overview of what the understanding for housing for incoming transfer students will be. So we'll go ahead and get started. Shelby, if you would like to start our introductions.
Sure. Hi, I'm Shelby Clark. I'm one of the assignments coordinators. So my role is to assist you with any and all assignments related questions. And one of my main areas of focus is disability related accommodations. And we'll talk about that later in the presentation. I'm going to pass it off to Dana.
Good morning, everybody. I'm the other assignments coordinator, Dana Muto, and I can help with meal plan questions and adjustments. I can help book meal plans and changes in the systems. I can help with basic assignments questions.
And I'm Christy Eanes. I'm the assignments manager. I supervise the assignments coordinators and the processes for selection for on-campus housing and off-campus registration. And we're glad that you're here. Just a note, there is opportunity for Q&A in our chat. If you have questions as we go through the presentation, feel free to put those questions in the chat, and we can answer those along the way or at the end. So what do? We partner with our students in their journeys to create a home here at Wake Forest University. We'll seamlessly integrate learning and development into each of our residents' experience and foster and invested communities at Wake Forest. To start off, Wake Forest has a 6-semester residency requirement that usually equates to or equals 3 years, and it has to be consecutive semesters on campus, minus time away. If you are away from the university for any reason, then you would not be issued a housing credit. Credits are issued to students who are study abroad, that is like being on campus, and those housing credits are issued for your fall and spring semesters only. Summer school does not count as a housing credit. Housing credits counts towards your residency requirement, and transfer students can receive credits for any and each full-time fall-spring semester they completed at a former institution. And transfer students should email our office the official transcripts from their former institutions by July 1st if they would like those reviewed in order to issue those housing credits. As you can see here, the circle on the bottom will show on your housing portal when you log in, and we'll see that here in just a minute, that shows how many housing credits that you have, and those are updated as those housing credits are issued to you. Selection times are based on those housing credits, and they're randomly generated based on the number of housing credits a student does have with Wake Forest. So you may have already seen, if you've logged into your housing portal, this is what you see on the home screen, and anything related to housing, meal plans, disability related accommodation requests, anything housing related you will do through your housing portal. You'll select housing, you'll apply for a disability related accommodation. Here you'll select your meal plan. Any information update that you have, you'll do here as well. You can update your FERPA information, which is who we can talk to about your housing and meal plan, your proof of residency, and anything else that you might need to update as far as information requires. And here's the circle I was talking about that has your housing credits on it that would update each time a housing credit is applied. So for transfer students, incoming transfer students, you have a couple of housing pathways that you can do coming into campus and or going through the selection process. There is a pull-in process. So let's say that you know someone who is already on campus that may have a vacancy in their room or suite. They can make a pull-in request by July 1st, and you can take that space. You can go through the selection process on July 16th and form a roommate group of up to two, with another transfer student or a student that is also going through the selection process on the 16th who is a current student here at Wake, and select a double based on that roommate group. Or you can go through the selection process as an individual and select an available open space with an existing roommate that is already in that room. Couple of questions. Will there be single rooms available? Single rooms shouldn't be expected. They are limited and in very high demand. What if you don't like the options? The best thing to do is be prepared. Look at the floor plans, look at the availability list that comes out on July 11th, and have several options, kind of an ABC plan of where you might want to be or a location and things like that. What happens if you don't select? Anyone that does not select on July 16th, by the end of the day, will be assigned by our assignment staff. So what to expect on selection day? So when you log into your housing portal, you will come to a selection time page, which those times are issued on the 11th with the availability list. And at the bottom of that page will be a refresh button. And at your selection time, you'll hit that refresh button, and then the next page will populate for you, and it will show you a list of buildings that have availability in them. You'll select a building, and then the next page will populate the suites, the rooms, the spaces that are available in those buildings. You would then be able to see roommates, suite mates, how many spaces are available in a particular suite or room, and you would just add to cart and then proceed to the next page. There is a detailed, step-by-step guide on how to process through the selection process at go.wfu.edu/housing selection.
What up?
Meal plans. So first and foremost, you can learn more about different options, the different meal plan options at the link on the screen, which is dining.wfu.edu/meal-plans. There also will be information on that page regarding food allergies if that happens to be a concern of yours. Our meal plans have three components. Meal swipes, which are designated amounts of meals at residential dining halls on campus. They can be used at the Pit, at North Dining Hall, Hilltop Market, and the Magnolia Room. The second is Old Gold swipes, which are pre-designated combo meals at all restaurants, retail, cafe, and coffee house locations. You also have food dollars, which are like gift cards for food on campus. They're accepted at all dining halls, retail, cafes, coffee houses, restaurants, and convenience stores on campus. So all incoming students are assigned the base plan by default. So when you select your housing on the 16th, you can adjust your meal plan based on the minimum requirement for that area. And it'll be clear to you on the page what you would be able to adjust to. You can make changes up or down in your meal plan. You can increase or decrease your meal plan through August the 1st. And then between August 1st and September 30th, you can only increase your meal plan. So have a look, see what you like, and make changes as you see fit.
Thanks, Dana. Just to jump back real quick, a similar question that may some students, transfer students may have, will I automatically be paired or assigned with another transfer student? You could be assigned if you do not select on the 16th with another transfer student, or you could potentially be assigned to a space with an existing roommate who is already on campus.
All right, so disability-related accommodations. If you have a disability and may require housing accommodations, the first thing I would recommend would be to look at our website. There's a lot of helpful information there, too much to really get into today, but that's a good first stop. Your next step would be to complete your request in your housing portal. So on your portal homepage, there's an accommodations banner that you would click. You'll answer a few questions, and then you would need to upload documentation from your medical provider. So your request is not considered complete until you have both your request in through your portal and that supporting documentation from your doctor. Once submitted, your request will be reviewed by a committee. That committee consists of our office, Deacon Health, the University Counseling Center, and the Center for Learning Access and Student Success, that's known as the CLAS office. After the review, I would communicate with you the outcome. So that could be either a recommendation has been made, or the committee may ask for additional documentation to continue that interactive process. So the priority deadline for these accommodations would be July 1st. However, you can make a request at any time throughout the year. Just please know that our ability to accommodate you would be subject to availability after that July 1st date.
Thanks, Shelby. So with disability-related accommodations, we do strongly encourage you to use the provider form that we have on our website. This gives the providers the opportunity to describe the student's disability in detail and the current functional limitations related to the housing environment due to the disability. And it will ask questions such as when was the disability first diagnosed, what procedures and or assessments were used to diagnose the student's disability, how long have you been treating the student for the disability, and when did you last see the student for this disability. And the provider will have the opportunity to specifically describe what type of housing or dining they recommend or they're requesting, and why those accommodations are necessary based on the student's disability. And students, as Shelby was saying, there is a student portion to the request. Students would need to articulate what their need is based on their disability, and the provider must support and explain why, or the why behind that. This is not a resolution for a roommate conflict or not liking the community that you've been assigned to. A provider's recommendation does not automatically guarantee approval of an accommodation. We also do not deny accommodation requests. We continue the interactive process, which regularly includes asking for additional documentation or more explanation from your provider. So if you need to contact us, a couple of things. You can explore our website. Has lots of answers to commonly asked questions that can be found there. Make sure that you have your Wake Forest ID number ready to share with our staff if they need to look up the information. We strongly encourage our students to email our office using their Wake Forest email address, or call our office during business hours, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5 p.m. So that concludes the presentation portion. Are there any questions that you may have or need answers to or would like to discuss? I don't see anyone asking questions or typing any questions in the chat. Feel free to contact our office, like I said before, and view our website. Reach out to us, to myself, Shelby, or Dana, if you have any individual particular questions that you would like to discuss, or if you might want to be connected to other incoming transfer students that may want to pair up and go through the room selection process together. We'd be happy to discuss that with you. If there are no questions, that concludes our chat for today. Again, welcome to Wake Forest. We're excited that you're coming, and we will see you very soon.